Hello, and you're watching Loops and Lore with Meg. For today's video, I am doing the Give Thanks for Books tag. I wanted to do something kind of Thanksgiving themed since it is that time of year for those of us in the US. And I just Googled Give Thanks book tag and found this one that came up. I do believe it was originally made on the Edge of Precipice blog site, so I will link that down below. That's where I found it, and I couldn't find it linked out anywhere as the creator. There is 10 questions all about giving thanks to books in different ways. So without further ado, let's roll into this. Number 1 is a book you are grateful for a friend recommending. And this one is about the book because I do really like the book. It's a 4-star book for me. I am so glad that I've read it and it's in my collection. But also it's about the circumstances surrounding the reading of the book, so I'll explain that too. And that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. So Jess from Game of Thrones, her and Christina used to have their channel and make videos together. And one of the first videos that they did was a review of this book, and it was me and Jess doing it together because we buddy read this book way back in 2016 maybe. And doing that with her is what made me find the book community on YouTube. It is what made me end up creating my channel back then. And it's really what started my love of creating videos and thinking more critically about the books that I select. I'm going to set this down because it's heavy. At that point was a turning point in my adult reading life. One, because I switched from reading mostly YA to adult, which was a great switch. I really enjoyed it. The other thing was getting into the booktube community and realizing that this was a thing, and doing that video with them really showed that I'm capable of being a part of this as well. I always looked at it as something that I was like, well, I cannot do that. That is not me. And without doing that with Jess, I don't think I ever would have got to the point where I even have this channel now. I wouldn't have had my channel back then. And so that book really holds a special place in my heart because of that. And it's also a great book. So if you haven't read it, check it out. I could tell you what it's about. It is a historical fiction fantasy. It definitely reads more like a historical fiction than a fantasy though, just so you know. But it is about people within the time frame of Napoleon Bonaparte. So whatever that time in history is. I am so bad with history. But it was about them realizing that there might be magic in the world, and about Mr. Norrell kind of finding that, and Jonathan Strange having a natural talent for it, and how they end up affecting each other in history within that time. So it's something so unique that I haven't read anything like it. So yeah, it's a good one, and a really good history for me personally with that book. Number 2 is a book that fires up your imagination. I am someone that, even though I have such a creative outlook and I do art and design and stuff like that, I can't imagine things very well. So books, I can't see them like movies, like people talk about. I don't know what that means. So, but there is one book that I can actually visualize, and that's very rare for me. So, and for me, that is Red Rising by Pierce Brown. There are things within this series that I can just, for whatever reason, visualize so much more than any other books that I've read. If you've read the series, you know about the Iron Rain. I can imagine the Iron Rain. I want to see that because in my head, it's so spectacular. I've been saying for years that I wish that the same people who did Expanse would do this series, because their visual effects within Expanse added to this book series would be so cool. So anyways, this definitely, as far as my imagination goes, really creates a vivid picture in my head of what all is going on. When they talk about drilling and mining in the red colonies, I can just imagine like the drills going down and everything, like the snake vipers and everything just is something that I can't quite correlate to many other series but this one. The one that I've read recently that is definitely up there in the same realm is Mistborn. For whatever reason, the writing on that, I can really start to visualize things in that as well. So that is exciting. So, yeah, I definitely, for imagination, this one is great. Number 3 is a book with a vivid setting. And I don't think there is any other book but this one that I have wanted to see like the atmosphere of more. And that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I can just imagine walking in to the places that are described here and the parties and the circus and everything. And it's just, I want to be there. It's so cool. We read this for book club 5 years ago, possibly 6 years ago. It's been a while since we've read it. And for that book club party, we ended up doing the whole where everyone wore black and white with one thing red, and it was such a fun thing. The pictures turned out really cute from it. So it's definitely just, everything about this setting in this is just amazing. The atmosphere of it, the storytelling aspect of this book. It is one that I need to reread. It's been on my shelf as a, hey, reread this book for quite a while. So yeah, it's just, I adore this book, and the setting and everything in this is just perfect. The atmosphere, the writing style, it's just, everything about this book is 5 stars. So if you haven't read it yet, you definitely should. Number 4 is an encouraging book. And I had a really hard time selecting a book for this because I don't read a lot of necessarily encouraging fiction. And I definitely don't read a lot of encouraging nonfiction. A lot of my nonfiction is a little bit central to the fact that, you know, the doom and gloom is coming because of climate change and that kind of thing when it comes to the nature books that, you know, you read because that's most likely true. I believe it is to be true. Obviously nobody can for sure tell what the future holds, but it's not looking good. And then the others that I read is a lot of space ones and stuff like that. And it's like, it's inspiring to me because I like the idea of space exploration, but it's not really encouraging. So then I delved into, okay, what fiction have I read that I could delve into? And as soon as I saw this book, I knew it was the right answer. So I was like, perfect. And that is Sal and Gabby Break the Universe by Carlos Hernandez. This is encouraging to me because this is new fiction coming out for middle graders, and it is incredible. And it makes me encouraged to see that there is works like this being produced that is so wholesome, but also like pushing the boundaries of what is allowed for children's literature, in the sense that there is acceptance of everyone within this novel. There is no villainous characters. There is LGBT representation within this without it being a focal point, if that makes sense. Like, it's not, it's just, that's who they are. And I adore that. I adore that the cultural representation of this is just so well done. It has such a great feel to it. It just, everything about it is just like a warm and cozy hug and a little bit of a sci-fi mystery, which is just great. The school in this, I would move across Earth to have my daughter go to this school because of the way that they teach and how accepting they are and how encouraging they are to their students. And just everything about this just makes me smile and makes me happy that I'll have this book on my shelf for my daughter to read when she gets old enough, when she is ready to read it. And stuff like that just makes me very happy because, unfortunately, this book would probably not end up in her school for, you know, unfortunate reasons. But I will have it for her, and that is my job. So I don't know what else to say. Number 5 is a book that's taught you something, and pretty much any book that I read, I feel like I learn a little bit of something about, whether it is something about the world or something about me or something about me as a reader or any of those things. But when I was looking through my shelves, this book really stood out as a book that just the whole way reading it, I was like, I cannot believe that this happened. And I cannot believe that this is not more mainstream knowledge, that this has happened. And trust me, I know why it's not. And as The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks by Rebecca Skloot, this book is devastating to read and find out about the histories that are told within this. It is about an African American woman and the way that she was used for medical testing without her knowledge or her family's knowledge, and how the pieces of, I think it was her cancer, is still being used to today as a way to test certain things. And it's just, so much of this history is so important to know and to realize that this has happened in our very recent history. It's not like it's that long ago, and it's just, yeah. So this one was definitely eye-opening when I read it, and I'm so glad that I have. And on that note, we switch over to a happy book. Quite the parallel there. So I ended up going with The Tea Dragon Society by Katie O'Neill. This is a children's graphic novel, but I have never read a book that I just sat here and smiled at the entire time. It is adorable. It is just a cozy slice of life. It's just a cozy slice of life graphic novel, but they have these little dragons that sprout the tea leaves on them, and so they have to take care of them, and that's how they get their tea. And it's just, it's so cute. And it's just the art and the story and everything just makes you just smile, and it's so cute and happy. So without a doubt, if you need just a little happy pick you up in your life, you can do that. My personal favorite is the Hibiscus Tea Dragon. She is something. There's like the Earl Grey and ginger and peppermint. Oh, it's so cute. There's actually 3 of these out now. If a 4th came out, I don't know about that, and I need to know about that. But these are super, super, super cute. It also super barely fits on my shelf. Question 7 is a book you found amusing. I'm not someone that laughs at a ton of stuff. My husband makes fun of me. I laugh at myself a lot, which is something, I guess. But my husband makes fun of me because I comedies and stuff, I don't laugh at a ton of movies and stuff. But this one made me chuckle, and I think it's just because it has my humor in it. And that is All Systems Red by Martha Wells. This is the first book in the Murderbot series. I adore these novellas. They're super short. I think I've read the first 4. I do need to go through and like reread these because I do that all the time, but I also want to continue on with the series, and it's been a while since I've read them. This is about a robot who is supposed to be like a protection assignment type of robot, but he has been able to hack his systems, and so he's been like watching like sitcoms and stuff like that, and is developing more and more humanistic tendencies. And the way that, I don't know, the way that he kind of throws in these almost sitcom one-liners, and the way that certain things just go over his head and he doesn't catch, and he takes things so literal sometimes. It's just, everything about this is just me in a nutshell. So I definitely really love this series, and I think it's highly amusing. It also has some great like sci-fi action and stuff like that in it, so it definitely is not just a humor book. I just happen to find the character amusing. I do think this is getting made into a series, and I am so excited to see it. So definitely looking forward to that as well. Question 8 is an author you are thankful for finding this year. And for me, that is finally starting Brandon Sanderson. I feel like I have said that so many times since I've started this channel, and I'm sorry, I am in my Brandon Sanderson era of fangirling. I think like most of the people in the world, but Mistborn really just blew me away. with that first book, just getting into it. Yeah, I'm definitely thankful I've started his series and can develop into reading more. I'm highly interested in the Stormlight Archives. I feel like that's gonna be my jam. So I definitely want to continue on with this. But yeah, it's definitely the author that, off the top of my head, I'm like, I don't know why it's taken me this long. So yeah. Number 9 is a little bit of a tricky question, and that's because I don't like to compare myself because I feel like I don't know how to do that. But it is a fictional character you feel kinship with, and I think the character that has been in my life the longest, that growing up I used to want to be like her, I wanted to be her, and I felt like even now and as an adult can relate to her in so many ways. It's Hermione Granger. I think most type A, like, nerdy, want to be like, you know, wants to do well in schools type thing, relate to Hermione Granger. Now, since being an adult and starting to read fan fiction and delving into that, I can totally agree that I don't think Hermione is a Gryffindor, which is where I kind of have more kinship with her because I am not a Gryffindor. I'm a Slytherin. Thank you. I am a big proponent of not all Slytherins are evil. We're just cunning and like to solve puzzles and be ambitious and take on too much work. That's what a Slytherin is to me. But my border house is Ravenclaw, and I feel like that is exactly where Hermione should have been placed, is the choice between Ravenclaw and Slytherin, because she values her education and her intellect and her problem-solving skills. Those all point to Slytherin, or not Slytherin, Ravenclaw for me. But she uses that to get ahead sometimes, and she uses that to almost manipulate people. And that's where she's a little bit more Slytherin, to be honest. So I definitely feel like she's the character that has been at my heart the longest. Has been like, yeah, I really just love her as a character. So yeah, I guess my kinship's with Hermione. If you see a character that you think I would have kinship with and would like, let me know, because I am always looking for characters to love. And the final question is a book you would like to share with others. I had such a hard time selecting a book for this because I wanted it to be a 5-star book. I wanted it to be a 5-star book that I have not mentioned yet. And I wanted it to be a 5-star book that I have not really showed in any of my videos yet. And then I was looking through my list of 5-star reads and I was like, oof, this one for the time that we're in is a book I should be sharing with others. And that was The Handmaid's Tale of Margaret Atwood. Be prepared to be just emotionally wrecked with this. But it's a must read. Especially with it being on the banned list and stuff like that now. Definitely go through and read this, please. It is a fantastic read. I really love my copy. It's kind of old and beaten up, and I got it used, and I love the cover of it. This is just, of the time we're living in now, everyone should be reading this. Too often science fiction writers get things right, and you know, that's all I'll say. So this ended up being a weird video. I don't know, it really went up and down here for a bit, so hopefully you enjoy it on this Thanksgiving week, Thanksgiving day. I don't know what day I'm gonna put this out. But yeah, if you want to tell me any answer to these, please do. I would love to know, especially the last one. What's a book you want to share with everybody? So answer it down below, like, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Happy reading, stay cozy, stay crafty. Bye.